Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible to everyone? Okay. Hey, hi everyone. Good morning, good evening. So today, I think this is one of the topic which has been asked in multiple sessions, multiple times that if I don't have a good laptop or desktop and I want to do or I'm learning some new technologies, let's suppose Postgre database administration, MySQL database administration, or you are trying to learn AWS DBA, mean to say, you are trying to understand the database services which is running on top of Amazon Web Services. And normally, when you are learning any of these cloud technology, you go to the cloud platform and they give you certain amount of credits, right? Some providers are giving you to $50, $150, 200 or something, some amount. So first of all, I think we should be very thankful to all these cloud service providers. They are giving us the free credit so that we can understand their services, we can create some solutioning around it, we can understand their ecosystem of the services like databases, VMs, virtual machines, network, and all those things. So it's, I think we should give a big thanks to Microsoft, Amazon, Google, DigitalOcean, and others, uh, cloud service providers like Oracle and IBM. They are giving a lot of opportunity to us or the student like us who want to understand their ecosystem, cloud ecosystem. So the main problem statement in today's session I'm going to address is like, let's suppose you have a X amount of credit, $250, and you are planning to become Postgre database administrator and you are trying to learn or understand all the concept related to Postgre database administration or the services which is related to, for example, AWS, Amazon Web Services. So what are the common do and do nots, or how you can optimize your cost, or how you can utilize your credit in a such a way that you can learn all the topics that you have decided, and in other way you are not exhausting your limit, or in case if you are going to utilize some of your money for this learning, so that expenditure cost should be less. It should not be beyond the limit. Let's suppose you are already a student and you have X amount of money, for example $50 or 1000 Indian rupees for your learning. So how you can optimize your learning or utilization of your cloud account so that your cost is not going beyond, or you are always under the free credits, and once you have you have gray, you have understood all the concept, or you have a good job, you can add some money to your account and you can further explore other services. But what is the basics that you should understand before you are going to use this or any cloud service provider or cloud service provider account? Okay, so the first thing that everyone should understand is like when you are going to start learning any technology. Let's suppose for this example sake you are learning postgres database administration and you want to explore all the AWS web services options or services related to the database administration. Make sure you are defining your learning scope first. Practically, it is impossible that you can cover everything, right? You can cover one service, two service, 10 services, 15 services, or 100 services. Gradually, it is possible that at least in initially, you try to understand one service, second service, third service like that. But if your learning scope is not decided, then there are chances that you might exceed your credit or the specific budget that you have allocated for your learning. Okay, so the first and very important thing is take a pen and paper or create a Excel sheet, open a report, open a notepad, and define what you are planning to learn. For example, I want to learn Postgre installation on EC2. EC2 is a virtual machine service provided by AWS. I will define that as my first task or my first scope of my learning. Microsoft MS SQL installation on EC2. RDS Postgre installation managed service. It's a managed service for relational database. So I will just go and explore about this service. I will understand how to create the service. Okay. So define your scope first. Without defining your scope, don't just go and create an account and start practicing it. No, that's not a right choice, or that's not the best practice. Always define a scope. Once your scope is defined, then only start your learning process. Second and very important thing is whenever you are planning to start your learning, uh, you have logged into your AWS account, the first thing that you should do is you should you should first add a alert or budget alert. Mean to say, whenever my utilization is crossing $5, $10, send me an email, or in other words, set some percentage. Let's suppose uh, if I'm utilizing the 5% of my credit or 5% of the money that is I'm set for the monthly AWS utilization. So should get very clear cut email saying that you have utilized your 50%, 80%, and put some kind of, bracket also, early warning, urgent or critical kind of thing. Okay. So this is very important, setting the budget and putting some kind of alert out of it. Okay. Alerts are very important because sometimes we are we are focusing more on our learning, but we are ignoring all these alerts. And also if it is currently sending alerts to your active email which you are using day to day, there are chances you will see, okay, currently I'm going to overusing my AWS account or something. The next thing that you should do, understand uh, the overall cost of a specific service. And how you can do that, you can simply go to the AWS calculator. You can go and try to understand which particular service is going to cost me in which specific way, or in which particular uh, frequency. Either it is hourly, monthly, I'm going to pay the storage cost. I have to pay some kind of backup snapshot cost. I'm going to get the data or I'm sending the data. Okay, so there are some services which is working in that kind of fashion also, where they calculate that you are how much amount of data you're receiving as well as you're sending to the specific services. Okay, so try to understand what kind of services you are going to use and how much it is going to cost. Okay, the best way to get all these information is your AWS calculator. Okay, so you go to AWS calculator and just calculate the service name and also select in which particular region these particular services are running. Okay, always try to use the cheapest region. Okay, let's suppose I'm in United States, and inside the United States I have a cheapest region, for example Virginia, West Virginia. According to my currency, according to my geographical region, West Virginia is the cheapest one. So I try to use that specific availability zone or AZ or the cheapest region. For example, another example, you are in US and you are just exploring about the services, you are just learning. So try to take a service somewhere in India, somewhere in other part of the globe where overall service cost is less. Okay, so that you can control your cost. Okay, which is very important. Second thing, when you're learning or when your knowledge is limited, do not try to explore the services which are very costly, mean to say, or they are complex. Okay, because when you are using these complex services, you are not sure, right? What kind of billing you have to face or what kind of charges you are going to get. So first, initially, try to choose the basic services, understand them, try to develop your knowledge around those services, and try to avoid all these expensive services as a beginner or as a new learner. Okay, so once you have a quite good understanding, or at least you understand all these services, then only try to explore about these bulky or expensive services initially. Okay, uh, because this slide specifically says that why to avoid all these services. The reason is sometimes they are not behaving like a single service. A single service is also giving you multiple other services, or underneath multiple other services are getting created. So I think initially you should understand the ecosystem first, theoretically, and then go and create these bulky services. Very important topic, very important thing, which is like whenever you are creating any resources on AWS, always give proper tagging to it. Okay, let's suppose you are creating a project. So just put the project tag, key tag as a project, and as an example value, you can put DBA practice. If you are creating any, let's suppose a service, you can define as a owner and the owner name, environment or the environment name as a lab, services, and you can define a service. So mean to say, in a very high level, try to create some kind of tagging so that in future you can remember that what is the whole purpose of this service or this project, why I have created it, or last week why I have created the whole service or something. Okay, so tagging is very important. After tagging, this is the most important aspect that we should understand. Rather than creating the services manually, uh, we should use some kind of automations. Now you will ask a question, why automation when I can create the services initially? Anyhow, I'm learning the cloud, right? Even I'm not aware about the automation. So my simple ask is, before you jump into the cloud learning, or you have started learning the cloud part, I will recommend you to start learning some kind of automation. So using these automations, what you can do, you can simply go and understand all these ways to automate your cloud infrastructure creation. Let's suppose the famous one is a Terraform. You can simply go and write some Terraform script with the help of ChatGPT, and you can create your cloud infrastructure using ChatGPT. Okay, So this is the another way you can try and you can limit your creation using automation tool. Okay, and the another important thing is the moment you create something with the automation and tags, it is very easy to remove it, right? Because you have something like some kind of name, you have some kind of tag which you can use in your automation, and you can easily remove it rather than just creating them manually and searching in entire account that this particular service was created for which particular purposes. Okay, so use the automation tools or services to create your cloud infrastructure. My recommendation will be Terraform or Ansible or AWS CLI because they are easy to learn. Lot of help is available in the internet. You can get the scripts from the chat GPT. It is very easy to use. And the good part is like if your infrastructure is created with proper tagging and the tool, deletion part is very easy. You can easily delete the infrastructure very easily. Okay. Also, when you are learning all these cloud infrastructure creation and all, create a proper workflows. Initially it will look complex, but later on it will be very easy when you want to revert or delete your infrastructure. Okay, and even from the creation point of view, it will be very easy. Then you will understand why you have created, how this overall execution is happening. First I'm creating a EC2 machine, then I'm installing Postgre, then I'm initiating some scripts. Okay, like that you can completely control the overall implementation steps or frequency. Okay, also uh, let's suppose you have automated your cloud resource creation using AWS CLI, Terraform, or Ansible scripts, or some Python scripts, or some shell script. Okay, for example, whenever you are deleting let's suppose you are working on a project, you are learning AWS services for relational database services. Your learning is done. Now you want to delete your infrastructure. Let's suppose you created 2 or 3 EC2 machine with Postgre, 1 or 2 RDS instances with the Postgre. Now you want to delete it. So always after deleting your infrastructure or after deleting your instances, make sure you run a post delete check. Mean to say, every services sometimes when you are deleting a RDS instance, before deleting it takes some kind of snapshots. Okay, and those snapshots are nothing but they are considered to be a storage object. Okay, mean to say, just to store them in your AWS account you have to pay some money. Okay, so make sure all the residue or all the services which you have deleted has deleted the entire infrastructure and related components, and they are not lying here and there. Okay, you can do that. You can put some kind of checks in your automation also. So whenever your script is building or removing something, they can clearly check whether the automation has removed the step or removed the services. All those things you can create inside your automation. Let's suppose you are learning Postgre on AWS web services. uh, you are running, let's suppose you have a task or which comes under your learning scope that install RDS uh, on relational database services. I will recommend you to please note down all your steps or create a documentation for each and every task. The reason is the moment you perform a specific task and document it, your scope of learning can be finished or can be complete. If you are not documenting and you are not testing all the things which you want to test with the specific service, you will go and recreate the services again, which may occur extra cost. Okay, so which might occur the extra cost, and you have to duplicate the effort and your creation activity again and again. Okay. And in AWS, anything which you are duplicating or recreating next time will cost you money, time, and your free credits. Okay. So try to create the proper documentation with your learning plus your testing scope, so that in a one shot you are done with at least one topic, one project, one creation. Okay. uh, the same thing, let's suppose you are learning something, practice it, define the scope, document it, and then close that particular topic. Second thing, whenever you are, let's suppose you have decided that in coming 15 days I'm going to learn with Postgre on RDS, and in this process um, uh, I'm going to spend my free credits as well as I have, configured my credit card. So the first thing what you can do, you can simply let me see what is happening. Looks like my display is not working. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. So uh, just a minute. Just a minute. Sorry, my monitor was having some issues. It fixed. So what I was trying to explain you, like when you are focusing, when you are concentrating on your learning part, you are learning with with XYZ services. Make sure you monitor your services daily basis, right? So in that case, what happens if you are too much concentrating on learning and you forget about your services and they are continuously running behind day on night, or let's suppose for 1 week or 2 days, they might incur the cost. Okay. So the best way is to always monitor your services. Mean to say every day you can schedule a report using Python Boto. You can create some kind of AWS billing reports which can be scheduled, which they will send you every day. So the main gist of this particular topic is monitor your cost on daily day-to-day basis. If manually you cannot monitor, the best way is to write some automation using Python Boto 3. Nowadays, with the help of ChatGPT and all, it's very easy. You can simply automate it. Okay. So the step by step the approach is going to be like, in this particular section I want to tell you that if you're creating a plan, just create a plan like this. First you are exploring about EC2 with Linux, Then Postgre on EC2 with the Linux, MySQL on EC2. Try to understand the backup pieces on S3 bucket, RDS with Postgre and MySQL. Let's suppose you are only focusing on Postgre, then just RDS with the Postgre. AWS DMS, let's suppose you are practicing or you want to learn the migration services. You are planning to migrate from on-premises to cloud or something. So you can use it. Then you can explore about the monitoring and automation. So initially your plan should be very, very specific. Okay. Your plan should be targeted. Rather than covering everything, you should be having some bullet points, because practically it will be impossible to cover everything in that credit. Okay, so try to focus on the basics first. Create a learning plan very carefully or specifically. Okay, and just write them down like the way I am just showing you on the screen. Okay, and for each and every category assign one task. Okay, so in the final cost saving rule, the first thing is define your scope, learning scope, what you want to practice. Eliminate the cost using the AWS calculator before creating anything. Understand how much cost is going to give you. Create a tag properly, assign some kind of tag to your creation so that you don't forget why you have created it. And in case if you want to delete all the services in one shot, you can simply use one tag and you can delete all the services rather than doing it manually, which will be, sometimes you can easily skip some of the services which later on can create a big cost. Practice mean to say execute the lab and focus on the outcome. Document the outcome, document the step that you want to perform. Okay, delete all the resources using some kind of automations rather than doing it manually one by one, which is again you can easily forget about it. You can miss some of the services. Okay, and later on it can create a cost. Verify is nothing but whenever you have deleted any specific services, anything, you can simply go and run some kind of post check or some kind of report which can give you a clear cut idea that these many services are left out or these are the residue which supposed to be cleaned along with your main delete piece or delete job or something. Review your cost daily, weekly, so that it is not going beyond to the limit. And if you are following all these things properly, I can give you a guarantee that you can easily at least complete the basic cloud database administration part on any of the cloud service provider. You can complete the task, you can define your overall learning, and you can gather a lot of knowledge. Okay. So thanks for watching this uh, live, and thanks for giving me opportunity to present you this particular topic. So until then, let's wait for the next streaming session. In case if you have any doubt or any question, you can come to my website and I can, you can ask me any question directly, or you can join the WhatsApp channel, my WhatsApp channel, and you can directly talk to me or you can communicate with me. Okay. So this is my website. You can go to this particular topic. This is my website, and this is my course section. You can go and explore the courses like that. And in case if you want to talk to me or you want me to answer any of your questions, you can simply go to the contact section here or here, and you can ask your questions. And this is our WhatsApp number. You can directly ping to us. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your time and happy learning. Bye.